said, watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Die.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of the Trap or Die Podcast. I'm your host of the Trap or Die Podcast, Mual. And here with the fellas, man. AJ's in the building. Dre's in the building. Appreciate everybody who's checking in live, man. Amani, Peace, Crab, Monty, I see you in the chat. Let's get the administrative items out of the way right quick. Benz, what's up, player? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you are just checking in or watching live on the YouTube side. We definitely appreciate that. Audio side, appreciate your support over there as well. Make sure you hit that follow button if you haven't done so yet. Hit us with a rating and review as well. It's free to do so. It takes 10 seconds to show your support that way as well. On this show today, we got Nick Ackridge coming on. Nick Ackridge is a friend of the show. He's been around for a couple of episodes in the previous seasons. This is actually a great time. I mean, playoffs, perfect time to have Pro Football Focus on. So we're going to chop it up with Nick for a little bit and get his thoughts on the mob, but also a quick preview on his side as well. He's going to join the preview side of tonight's show with the Detroit Lions. This is going to be, yes, PFF Nick. Correct, Amani. This is going to be like the aftermath / game preview show because there is no show Thursday. I told y'all I'm gonna be out of town. Flag football, hoop dreams in a sense.
Hey, stay healthy, bro. Because last year, I wasn't there, but your ass was hurt last year.
Last year was it? No, 2 years ago now.
Well, it was 2 years ago.
I recovered last year, but I broke my foot.
Man, don't play. Don't play. That's the only way to stay healthy at this point.
Too late. I'm committed, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Got that flight.
I already got the flight lead tomorrow.
We gonna have to call you before your game and be like, la Bouchier.
Hey man, I need all the good luck, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta be around for the show on Saturday night.
What position you play?
I play receiver, slot receiver, an 8-man for those that do
so
play.
Are you Jamison Crowder? Or
no, too tall. He's taller than Crowder.
Yeah, I'm taller than Crowder. So I'm
saying like just throwing out comparisons to Washington Commanders players. Are you Luke McCaffrey or are you Jamison Crowder in the slot?
I'm more like Jordan Reed, bro. Yeah. I'm a tight. I'm really a big tight end, bro. I ain't that shifty like Jameson, like quick and shifty. I ain't that type of guy, but I got the moves. I get open. And I got my contested catches at like 90, like a 91, 92, something like that. But nah, I'm Jordan Reed out there, John, bro. Where's that? All right, so we're gonna be there. We're gonna be live right after the game. That's still gonna happen. Just no game preview. Commanders morning show tomorrow morning. I'm gonna see if Mark Bullock want to spin the block, we may have him on tomorrow morning show, and then all 32 will be.
Hey, Mark, I'll join you in the morning tomorrow.
All right, you know what time we get up?
You doing 6 or 8 o'clock?
6.
God damn.
See,
you ain't doing that, AJ.
I told y'all not doing the 6 a.m., bro.
I'll rock with you tomorrow 6 a.m.
All right. I mean, but technically though, you don't have to get up at 6. You can do 7 because I'm gonna be on for a little bit. So you don't have to get up at 6 a.m. to start.
I'll take 7. I'll take the 7 slot.
Look at him. All right. So morning show tomorrow morning, and then all 32 that usually comes on Wednesday will be on Thursday this week. I don't think I'm missing anything, so I think we're good there. Shout out to my neighbors, bro, because we almost didn't have a show. My damn dog got off the leash as soon as I got home from work. I had a 45-minute drive, which is not normal for me. Like I usually take the subway. So driving home, I was fully active driving home, bro. So like when I got home today after a 9-hour shift, took her out, made sure she was good, but I don't know how the hell the leash wasn't clipped, bro. As soon as the front door closed, I heard the little snap of the clip, and she was moving without the leash. She had the harness on, but no leash, bro. I said, oh, my God, bro, she gone. She gone, bro. I had to chase her down in the snow, the backyards, bro. But like I said, when I told y'all where was she at, she ended up roaming where my townhome was. So typically she'll go all across the neighborhood, like not even stay in the back end. She'll go to the front end. She'll go to the other areas of like the whole what is it called? Community, Oak Palm, whatever. Yeah. Go around the whole thing, bro. But she stayed in the area, and somebody rang my doorbell, and they alerted me because when I got the camera jump on my app, I saw her running the street in my front yard. I'm like, oh, bet. All right, so she right there. But what would blow me is Shorty who rung the doorbell. She say, excuse me, is you got a dog? I said, yeah, that's Shorty. I'm on my way back. I'm on my way back now. She's like, okay, yeah, can you come get her? Cause we trying to get her. I can hear them yelling, trying to keep the dog and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I'm on my way back now. She's like, well, can you come outside so you can come get your dog? Like, she was like, do you know the dog is outside? I said, yes, I've been looking for her for like 20 minutes. She's like, all right. So apparently she's like, can you come outside and get your dog now?
Like you were just chilling.
I want to say, bitch. I'm looking for the dog. I had to say, ma'am, I am outside. I am walking back to my house now. I had to hang up on her because I was like, if I stay on here any longer, bro, she gonna piss me off. But they trying to help me. So let me not talk to her. Yeah. Walk back. They don't even have her. So like those were the first set of neighbors that helped me out and told me where she was. She ended up running up this hill. So like they don't even have her. Now I go up the hill. And I gotta go walk this house that they don't know me at all. I'm walking this house like I did like 2-3 laps around the house because she just keep running in circles, bro. I'm like, bro, Dakota, come here. I'm doing all the commands. I got the treats in my pocket. She ain't listening to nothing, bro. But the neighbor ended up, long story short, because we got to get to the actual show. Long story short, after those circles, a neighbor they actually have a dog too, but the dog distracted her enough to where like they came outside. They ended up getting this treat for her, and the treat distracted her, and they was able to hold her, so I can clip her back onto the leash. So, if it wasn't for them, bro, I'm probably still outside right now.
Looking, yep. Them damn Huskies, bro. Huskies roam. You give them an ounce of freedom, they're gonna take the mile.
And she took off initially. I'm just glad there wasn't no cars in the street, bro. Yes. I swear to God, she like that's how fast she took off, bro. She ain't even look both ways before she crossed the street. She was sprinting. I swear.
She's freedom.
Hey, all right. So like I said, let's go ahead and talk some ball, bro. That's all we're done with. Nick Ackridge is. I hope she don't watch the show. That's funny as hell. Yeah, Nick Ackridge is joining us right now. Let's go ahead and talk about all things Commanders in Tampa Bay for a little bit, fellas. Nick, what's going on, player? Appreciate you joining us, man. How you doing?
What's up, fellas? How we been?
Oh, Nick Dash, baby, I love it.
Couldn't be better. We got you on the show. It's mid-January, and we talking about the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, we're still talking about games that haven't happened yet. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. It's an exciting time, and I think for you, like obviously, you do the I think senior analyst role, I believe is your senior analyst at PFF. And while you got 1,000 things to do over there, you get to look at the details of who stood out and who did it with the Washington Commanders. At the end of the day, this was a team when no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like a lot of people had significant roles in this game. Let's start with Nick on this one, fellas. What was some of your bottom line takeaways from how they performed in that wild card game? You can start from defense. You can start with offense, special teams, which way you want to go. We're gonna follow you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with the good. Terry and Diami, they showed up, and that was kind of a big key for me. Is how they were going to play against Tampa's secondary, who wasn't kind of the best in the league, but it wasn't terrible. So how they performed was huge. Diami was clutch. I mean, we all kind of know that Terry's going to do his thing, and you just got to get him the ball. But what Diami Brown was able to do, kind of not really out of nowhere, but usually he's just getting these manufactured touches. But this time it's him winning downfield, which isn't something that he was really doing too much. So that was kind of huge for me. And then obviously Jaden Daniels. I mean, the offensive line was pretty poor. I kind of thought that watching live and then watching back a couple of times, it was rough a lot, and it didn't really matter who was on the other side. But Jaden just kind of just kept them in the game, kept willing them to, just avoid the negative plays. And sometimes those are his best plays, like avoiding the 2-3 yard loss and turn that into just 1 yard. And like that, stuff like that was huge. And you're going to have to kind of need that again. People kept asking me, how do they beat the Lions? And it's just Jaden, putting the cape back on and doing what he can.
So Nick, I think I want to just jump into this divisional matchup on Saturday. It sounds so funny saying even divisional matchup and Washington Commanders in the mix. With them going against the number 1 seed in the Detroit Lions, what do you think are the key things that Washington needs to do as a team offensively and defensively in pulling off the upset, beating Detroit? What are some of your thoughts as far as being able to stop them offensively or being productive, stop Detroit offensively, but also Washington being productive on the opposite side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, for the defense, it's going to come down to kind of similar things against Tampa. You're just going to have to hold on, hold on for dear life. Make as many plays as you possibly can. They got pretty lucky with that Baker fumble, but again, you got to fall on that ball. Those are the type of plays that you have to make. For the offense, Detroit's going to play man coverage. That's what they do. They're going to play man coverage and they're going to blitz you. So you have to have answers for how you're going to protect those blitzes. And I think they did a pretty good job of that against Tampa, who again sends some pretty exotic blitz looks. Obviously, the big one was that first third down shot to Terry, where the whole line is pointing out who's blitzing, and they get that picked up to convert that big third down. So you're going to have to do a lot of the same. They're going to play a lot of man coverage, like I said. So you need your receivers to win again, and that isn't just Terry. That's again De'Ami Brown winning downfield. That's my boy Luke McCaffrey, who I think still needs to get play out there.
Are you still on the anytime TD junk?
No, I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, I quit the first week I tried it. I was like, you know what, fuck this.
There's a couple weeks where I tried to throw a first touchdown in there, and I'm just throwing my money away at that point. But man, I've seen him constantly win against man coverage, so I just think he needs to be in the game. But that's what you need to do. I mean, you're going to have to win against the guys. They're going to be physical. I think of it a lot kind of to how the Steelers played Washington. Again, they played a lot of man coverage, a lot of press. In your face type of stuff. You're going to have to win. You're going to get some holding calls, maybe get a little acting in there to get some of those calls. And that's basically how you're going to win. Jaden's got to make plays. He's going to have to make people miss. There's going to be free rushers at times. So again, he's got to put the cape on. People need to win downfield. And that's how you beat Detroit. And I don't think that I think that the spread right now is getting a little ridiculous. I think it.
Yeah, I think
8.5.
It's like 9.5 to 10 right now. So
wow.
I bet 10. I don't know if that makes me a homer or not, but I bet plus 10 the second I saw it, and I think it's gonna be a lot closer than that. Again, you got to control the clock. We're giving a lot of credit to the defense against Tampa, but I think it was really just the offense had the ball the entire game, pretty much, and so the defense didn't really have to, constantly step up and make plays.
So Nick, when you say control the clock, I guess my issue I have with that is, do we think that this matchup that the passing game will be an extension of the run game? Because offensively for weeks now, they have not been able to run the ball at all. Yep. So some of those runs in the Tampa game were just like dummy runs. It was just to make Tampa have to commit to the fact that they may run, but they were gaining no yardage. So do you think we see more of the same, or do we see something additional as far as the extension of the run game and maybe even using the pass game more to help get those 2-3 yards?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. The run game is brutal right now. It's a tough watch each week. It's just kind of missed assignments everywhere. And if everyone's finally on their assignment, someone's losing their block, and it's rough right now. Their best runs have just been Jaden kind of just making plays. And unfortunately, you're going to have to kind of rely on that. And that's a tough way to kind of live on offense, but that's what they've been doing. In terms of the passing game, quick game stuff, screens, again, like you said, extension of the run game, that's how you're going to have to kind of play this and then take your shots when you get the chance. Really, they were controlling the clock last week, not really, again, because of how effective they were with the run game or short pass. It was really just because they couldn't get too many yards, and they kept finding themselves in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and then you make plays on those third downs, and then you find yourself in 4th and short, make plays on those fourth downs. So I'm hoping they're not in the same situation when they have to rely on going for it on fourth down 5 or 6 times again. That was pretty stressful to watch. But
they're gonna get just as many, bro.
Yeah, it's you have to find something in the run game. You just can't. You can't rely on that kind of. You can't rely on that sort of variance in third and fourth down, and it's going to eventually come back to bite you. And you're going to have to make some plays in the run game. Just have to.
And Nick, we talk a lot about the offense, obviously, because you have Jaden, and that's ultimately where you win a lot of these games. But defensively speaking, there's a guy on defense that's really key. He just made second team All-Pro, Frankie Louvu. And I'm a big fan of PFF. I always check the PFF grades after every game. So I just gotta ask you, man, like what makes his grade isn't bad by PFF measures, but what makes Frankie not get a higher grade from PFF from your standpoint?
And before you go, I haven't gotten to the defensive, actually only gotten to the third quarter offense. Things been a little hectic over here. But from the actual watching the game live, I think, and I want to get your opinion on this, that's why I jumped in, Nick. But I think that Louvu, he's had several impact games throughout the season. There's a reason why he's second team All-Pro. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But like, there's also some games where like, if he's not having an impact, like he's completely quiet.
Yeah.
And that's a small percentage, but it happens. And I feel like watching the game, this was one of those games where it's like, where is he at?
Yeah. So the biggest thing with, this is kind of when we find sort of a discrepancy in sort of our grades and what public perceives it, media perceives it. It's guys like Frankie Louvu who his best plays are going to be splash plays. Like you're going to see him, you're going to know right away, he's right, he's making the play, but you're not going to really see the stuff where he's messing up. And for Frankie Louvu, I said this when they signed him, he's going to play every single snap at 110%. He might be wrong on half of those snaps, but he's going to be wrong at 110%. And that's kind of what we're seeing sometimes. Sometimes he's going to shoot the wrong gap. We're going to still downgrade him for that. And if he shoots the wrong gap and that leads to kind of an explosive play, that's kind of where we see a downgrade. But he'll then follow that up with a big play, a big tackle. We've also seen him a lot on the edge. He plays a lot of edge rusher. And that's kind of taken away from some snaps at, off-ball linebacker. But as an edge rusher, he's made tons of plays. I think getting him there, using him as kind of a unique sort of piece along that edge has been really, really effective. He's got the most pressures from as an off-ball linebacker in the NFL. So I think for him, you're just going to live and die by, whether or not he's right or wrong. He's kind of the exact opposite of Bobby Wagner, where Wagner's always going to be in the right spot. Like he's just never going to be wrong. But Louvu, he's going to do things that it's going to drive you crazy, but he's also going to make some incredible splash plays. And that's kind of what it comes down to. And that's kind of why you see his grade kind of hovering in the high 60s, sort of low 70s.
And Nick, kind of follow up on that, I asked about Frankie Louvu, but on the flip side, you just mentioned the guy I was going to ask about, Bobby Wagner. Now, Bobby Wagner has an extremely high grade on PFF. Talk about his impact on the defense and what makes his grade so high.
Yeah, Bobby he's kind of been a PFF darling for his entire career. I don't think there's been a year where he's really been below like 80. He's always in the right spot, and that's kind of something that we really value a lot. He's always in the right spot, always around the ball. And I think for this defense, he's saved a lot of plays. I think we kind of know that the interior of the defense is kind of struggling right now, the D line. But he saved a lot of plays back there, shedding blocks at the second level and making plays kind of at or around the line of scrimmage. Doesn't miss too many tackles. And that's kind of huge in our system. Again, just not making mistakes. The one area where he's struggled the past couple of years is coverage. He just doesn't have the same sort of, kind of speed that he had in the past. And that's kind of suffered a little bit in our grading. You can see it in the grades. It's kind of middle of the pack in terms of coverage grade, but run defense, it's up towards the top because he's just always in the right spot.
So let's get into kind of one of our segments here. Nick, essentially it's the 2-minute drill. We just have a conversation on something that we've seen on social media, right? And I think for this one, it's actually a tweet that came from a Bears fan. I thought it was interesting enough to bring it to the table. just from a macro standpoint, and we can talk about how the team and Jaden Daniels has people in shambles. So the tweet, I'm not going to give the person, I'm not going to give him, some credit, but I'll just read what he said. He said, I'm a Lions fan next week. I will be enjoying the beatdown on the Commanders. Sorry, not sorry. Devil magic has to end. The reason why I want this to be our 2-minute warning conversation, I find it interesting over the past 2 months. I would say last month, you get 5 straight games where it didn't even dawn on me until they actually put that out there. But 5 straight games where, Washington has won on the final play of regulation, right? And you're talking about a quarterback who has, in Jaden Daniels, who people have made several throughout the season excuses of why he was able to win a game. And it harbors this negative energy because fans are excited about a person who is legitimately clutch, who watches him every single week and knows what he brings to the table. I find it interesting during from an NFL standpoint that there are people out there who's always existed, but I think we're experiencing this for the first time that people actually don't understand, or maybe they do, that this person Jaden is the real deal. And not only do you keep coming up with excuses for why Washington wins, he just beat a winning team. Those are one of the excuses that y'all had for a long time. He can't beat the team with a running record. Well, they beat Tampa Bay. And it was on the back of Jaden Daniels. 87% of the offense is what he accounted for against Tampa Bay, 301 yards of their 376. Hail Mary was fluke. The Eagles had injuries, but I mean, look, he threw a pick with 2 minutes left to go in the game. He still got the ball back and he won. I just think for Washington and that comment in itself is just a micro example of a macro issue from people around the league who just really don't understand yet, how good Jaden is. So that's kind of where that comment kind of starts our 2-minute drill, fellas. What do y'all think about just the narrative or the picture that I'm painting here?
Can I take this one first? And reason why I want to take this one first is because I actually responded to the tweet that you were talking about, Mual. But coming from the Bears fans is insecurities. I mean, straight up, the fact that they, I think, are facing the reality that it's a possibility that they've again messed up the quarterback position. And the fact that their GM wouldn't even bring Jaden Daniels in for an interview, they had their mind made up. I mean, not even just Ryan Poles, but the Bears fan base was very convinced that Caleb Williams was this generational prospect. And people like the Bears fans are watching this attention that Jaden Daniels is getting, and deservedly so. He's earned every bit of the praise and the attention he's getting. And it's like, why not us? It's almost like the Brady Bunch where Marshall or Jan's yelling, Marsha. Like they're tired of seeing our quarterback getting the attention that they thought their quarterback should be getting. And even on the standpoint of, we live in this area, all my life I've had to deal with, Cowboys fans or just opposing teams fans that's hated on the home team. Like, I got a guy right now at work. He's a Packers fan. I mean, this guy is no reason.
You've been talking about him for months too.
Yes, I mean, Jamal, he's called me the last couple of days because the Packers have got eliminated. He keeps talking about next year. I'm like, I'm not worried about next year because we're still playing games this year. Next year is for losers. But they don't know what to do with Washington possibly having a franchise quarterback. They keep going back to the old insults of, oh man, y'all just gonna mess it up next year. I'm like, look, y'all haven't seen a quarterback for Washington like this. And I know y'all haven't seen a quarterback for Washington like this because we as diehard Washington fans haven't seen a quarterback like this. You know what I mean? Like, you can go back to RG3 and all of that, but RG3 got hurt his first year. And RG3 had flaws his first year that kind of got masked up in a Kyle Shanahan system. And I loved RG3. I'm a big fan of that era. But some of those flaws were kind of masked. And then when he got injured, it was hard to mask those flaws. Jaden doesn't have those noticeable flaws out there. Like, he's a guy that can run. He's also a pocket passer that can run. So how do you defend that? This is something that the league wants to see more of, that you can't just go out there and find growing on a tree. So no, a lot of fans are insecure right now, Maul, and that's just all I got to say about it.
One quick question, Brad. Nick, this is for Nick because we talked about it last week or after the game. Nick, who is prior to the eliminations in wild card round? So let's talk about all 7 teams. Who's the best quarterback in the NFC? And how would you rank Jaden Daniels in the entire NFL in terms of playoff quarterbacks?
Are we talking about career or just kind of like
2024?
What Jaden? I mean, it was if you want to look at just PFF grades, it was Jaden. A lot of people's just their eye test, it was Jaden. For me, again, there's some bias there, but I think it's Jaden. I don't think anyone's doing what he did this last year. And you talk about the insecurities of other fans, and it's just so funny because they would be saying the exact same stuff we're saying if they had Jaden as their quarterback. And it's just like it's refreshing to finally have this feeling like we have a quarterback. In 2012, I was kind of I was a huge RG3 fan just like you, but you could kind of tell there was a little something gimmicky about that offense. Like things kind of flipped when they kind of not invented, but introduced that read option into the game, and no one could really stop it for a while. And you finally figured out how to stop it, and it just kind of it was pretty gimmicky from the start. There's nothing gimmicky about what he's doing right now. He's doing some stuff at a quarterback level that guys are doing that have been playing for years, and it's incredible to finally see that sort of stuff because I've spent way too long watching film of a Taylor Heineke, of a Sam Howell, and you're just looking at this stuff and you're just like, please, man, just throw the ball. Like this is open, this is what's called, and we're running offensive coordinators out of town because we got quarterbacks that can't make the plays. Last year's offensive coordinator was different, but it's just like this year he's hitting exactly what he's supposed to do, and when he misses it, he's not missing it again, and that's the part that's really cool. There's obviously been plays where he's going to miss a read. I've seen plenty of them, but he's not going to do it twice. And one thing that I've kind of noticed is he starts a little bit slow in terms of what he's seeing on the field, but late game, he's not missing it. Like you see some of the stuff like the Eagles game-winning touchdown or this last week where he's just trusting what he sees. He's anticipating stuff. And that's the sort of stuff that I didn't know he was capable of. I mean, people that follow me on Twitter know that I was a Drake May guy, but I never saw that. I never saw this in year one. I saw this in the future. I had him comfortably as a top 10 pick, and I was happy no matter what they did. But I did have Drake May ahead because I didn't think that this was going to be happening right away. And it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think for me, I'll just go in and know that I did not poot. That was my phone. Before I
feel like it's so ironic, bro.
Like, we have company, and I can see Nick's face. He was like,
I saw. Yeah,
so
I was waiting to see if other people were going to react to it.
I just wanted to give a disclaimer. I did not poop, but before I get in my soliloquy, I think Nick, what you just mentioned as far as like Jaden Daniels and how he kind of starts off a little slow, seeing things. I think that's why it's so important for Cliff and this offense to keep that tempo going, because you see the offense move at a whole different pace when the game is on the line versus the beginning stages of the game. So it's like, only imagine if they could continue to be productive, gaining 2-3 yards here and there and completing these third downs, or not even getting to a third down, how quickly Jaden can process in between the numbers or outside the numbers. But overall, when it comes to hate, I mean, people only hate on things that are good and great. You feel me? So, I mean, it just comes with the territory. People hated on the Beatles. People hated on Michael Jackson. People hate on Taylor Swift, Beyonce, sports-wise, LeBron, Jordan, Derek Jeter, and so on. You feel me? Tiger Woods. So that's what comes with the territory. I just think that what a lot of fans and even pundits are realizing is Jaden Daniels is doing this with mediocre talent around him. And the Washington Commanders have $90 million plus to spend in cap room. There's available free agents that they can bring in to improve this offensive line, the running back core, the wide receiver core, and draft picks. They have draft capital as well. So they're just like, damn, if he's doing this with Olamide Zaccheaus, Diami Brown, a second-round tight end, and Ben Sinnott, who has probably 6 catches or less on the entire season and probably only for 40 yards. I'm just saying this off the top of my head. Offensive line of Nick Allegretti, Brandon Coleman, Andrew Wiley. Like, what the hell is going to happen when they actually get to spend these resources? Like, it's only going to go up even more. And I think it's only but so many times you see a quarterback like a Jaden Daniels come in the NFL and take over the reins. I think he's being penalized for being a rookie, but he's definitely up there in the top 3 conversation of MVP. I mean, he's the epitome of what you look for an MVP. That's not to say that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are having amazing seasons, but when you look at what Jaden Daniels is doing, they were the number 2 team to draft overall for a reason. Like, everything is brand new head coach, new OC, everything is new environment for him. He is the epitome of MVP. So when those type of things happen across the NFL and there's fans watching, there's pundits, they're mad. Like, it's not their team. Damn, we didn't expect this to happen at all, or even this early, but it's happening, and he has the league on notice. I kind of touched on this, fellas, before I end. People are going to be talking about Jaden Daniels differently after they win their first playoff game, whenever that came, because we knew they had clinched. I was like, the media is going to talk about him differently. Now, just imagine when we revisit this conversation next week, because I'm predicting Washington to beat Detroit, what happens then? Oh, the hate's going to get even louder. So get buckled up for it.
Shout out to 2 people in here that I want to. Amani echoes what AJ saying. Colin Cowherd said that this is the worst team that Jaden will be playing with in his career. And we all know that what that means. So free agency, drafts, understanding Adam Peters, expecting him to, keep the momentum going in that regard. And then secondly, Will Weber, bruh. Stiff arm Kalijah Kancey, like he's not a running back, Jaden Daniels, but like the innate ability, because like people don't think like you can be a running back a quarterback that's elusive or that can make people miss, but to have the wherewithal to actually like use your arms like as a running back, like that just shows you like he'll do exactly what it takes to win. And stiff arming a defensive lineman when you're already like he's already penetrated the backfield, and you like, man, you're not good enough in this moment. You're not good enough, bruh. And he makes a person who was cooking all game lose that one rep that helps Washington seal the deal, bruh. That's major, man.
Bruh,
so,
Jaden Daniels' weight is no longer even a focus of the conversation anymore. Like, just look what he's been doing. Like, he's pretty much stayed healthy all season. He's stiff arming guys that are 275, 280 pounds, 6'3". Like, he's running in between tackles. He's getting hit, getting right back up, smiling right in your face.
all right.
The conversation, even in the draft process, was, oh, this guy needs to add on weight. Well, I don't think he needed to add on anything.
He never needed to add on weight. He just needed to. We saw this was the first kind of crazy hit that we've really seen that he took last week. He just needed to get lower. Like he that was his problem in college. It was just you got to get lower. But I don't think he ever needed to add weight. And a lot of people are gonna they comped into Lamar Jackson, which I kind of thought was a pretty lazy comp because they don't really play the same. But they're gonna bring the same sort of things to an offense where Lamar play is never dead. You got him wrapped up in the backfield for 6-7 yard loss. It's never going to end at a 6-7 yard loss. He's always going to get that to, at worst, a 2-yard loss. And that's the kind of the same thing. And that kind of leads to people, discrediting what Lamar does as a pocket passer. And that's going to lead to the same thing with Jaden in the future, where they're going to discredit him as a pocket passer. He can only run, he can only scramble. But what he's doing in the pocket from a quarterback perspective is some high level stuff that we haven't seen ever. As Washington fans, I haven't seen ever. I mean, I've seen one playoff win in my entire life.
You didn't see it in Sam Howell, Nick?
No, I do not at
You
all.
don't remember this time
You
last
mean
year.
the young Peyton Manning?
Keep Sam Howell, draft the
Hey,
offensive lineman.
Hey,
Oh
that's low key. Hey,
stomach.
Nick just dropped the bar. The young Peyton man. What they say? He threw all them picks that first year, bro. That's what Peyton Manning did.
Hey, you know how many
single
people I had say that junked in me, bro? It was
every
so
single
that was
quarterback
Peyton
that throws a
Manning
lot of
did.
picks is Peyton Manning.
Yeah. You would have gave up on Peyton too.
Hey, bro. Hey, so we only got a few more minutes with Nick, so let's go ahead and get through our ad break and then let's spin the block with our keys to or questions, burning questions for the Detroit Lions game preview. So, Nick, just think about that. What's your burning question for Washington in terms of how or what would it take for them to beat the Detroit Lions? People in the chat as well, same thing. Think about your burning questions. We'll discuss it on the back end. As y'all all know, this episode and this podcast, Trap or Die Podcast, is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. It is the best place to cash in on all your takes during the playoffs. Which players are going off and which ones are ice cold? With over 5 million happy players and $2 billion won, I need a little bit of that change. Let me get like a little 4 figures. I'd be happy. I said 5 figures last week. Look, I just need a win. All right. Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all your favorite athletes' performances. This week, we did have a deal. They actually do got a percentage of profit boost going on right now for NFL pick'ems. But I did not do that. I played champions, and I got to play for the Lions Commanders game. Give me Zach Ertz over 3.5 receptions. Give me Jameson Williams higher than 19.5 in terms of his longest reception. Jaden Daniels over 293.5 passing and rushing combined yards. He going to do it again. Give me Austin Eckler over 51.5 rushing and receiving yards combined. Give me De'Ami Brown. He going to do it again. Higher than 3.5 receptions. Terry McLaurin over or higher than 5.5 receptions. Jared Goff over 2 or higher than 229.5 reception passing yards. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown higher than 6.5 receptions. That is an 8-pick play for Underdog Fantasy. That's what I got for the Saturday game with Commanders and Washington. and Detroit. Again, they've got all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. Think about the player and what they'll rack up in terms of higher stats, passing yards, touchdowns, interceptions, or more. Cook up them fire entries, man. Underdog is the only pick-em platform that puts power to cash in your hands. You can keep riding with your entry or tap the win now button to cash out. Every dog deserves a chance as well. So with Underdog Rescues, you can get your money back and receive a promo if an early injury causes your entry to lose. Think about Tyler Higbee last night. There's a certain platform that I will not mention right now during this promo where I made a live play and Tyler Higbee was on the live play and he got hurt like 2 minutes later. I can't even cash out or get my money back. Underdog lets you do it. Again, Underdog is the best place to pay. Pick them. Download the app now using promo code TRIBEDIVE and deposit to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. I repeat, download the app, sign up using promo code TRIBEDIVE, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. You must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 years or older in Colorado for some games, 21 years or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado for some games. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. If you're in Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. If you're in New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. All right, here we go. Nick, so burning questions for the Detroit Lions and Commanders matchup. What is one thing on your mind that you have a question that needs to be answered against the Detroit Lions for Washington?
Yeah, I kind of touched on it when we were talking a little bit earlier. It's how are you going to run the ball? Like, how are you going to run the ball? How are you going to stop their run? Because that's kind of been two of the weakest points of this team the past couple of weeks. So for me, it's how are you going to run the ball and how are you going to stop the run? That's the part that scares me, where I can see it getting a little bit out of hand. You're going to
talk about Brian Robinson in your answer. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to make sure you touch on B. Rob and just the actual people in the backfield too. What do you think?
The running back position is for people. It's just it's just stats. Like you just see stats and you think, all right, this guy's bad, this guy's good. B-Rob doesn't have a chance right now. He doesn't have a chance to do much. I understand why people are calling for Chris Rodriguez because we've seen him make 4 or 5 people miss for a 2-yard gain. I might have stoked the flame a little bit when I put out some of his grades and some of his stats there with Chris Rodriguez. But yeah, the offensive line is just not blocking. Like it's just not. And for any running back, you're gonna struggle there. You're getting hit at or behind the line of scrimmage on almost every single play. And for someone like Brian Robinson, he's a downhill runner. He needs to get a little head of speed going on him to kind of really be effective. And you want him working downhill. You want him in gap scheme stuff where he's going straight downhill. You don't want him going side to side cutting. And right now they're struggling. They're just struggling back there. I don't know how it's going to get better, but yeah, I don't understand. I don't know how they're going to run the ball or stop the run. Really.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't know how they're going to stop the run. That's something they've been struggling with all season. But I mean, going against the Bucs, who ranked 4th in rush offense, they did a pretty good job of bottling Bucky Irvin for majority of the game. I think he probably broke one for maybe 20 or 30 at some point. But they did a good job.
I think it was his highest. But to your point, second half, he got off a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is one of my favorite players, like in the league overall. That's someone that brings explosiveness to the game from the run and also the passing threat, and which doesn't help you much in trying to stop the run because you don't also know if this guy could be involved in a screen. Could he be running an angle route? Whatever the case is, he can run the route tree. And also David Montgomery is coming back from his injury, which I don't know how the hell he's pulled that off. I don't know what type of drugs they gave him to get back.
That's fine. Give him more carries and less Jahmyr Gibbs carries. That's
perfectly okay with me. I mean, because Jahmyr Gibbs is the more explosive guy. He's able to get past one guy and take it for 80, like without a doubt. And you don't want him to have such a big game. The last game he played in, he scored 4 touchdowns, which you don't really see from a running back too many times. Now, rushing for Washington, yes, I understand the offensive line is doing bad. My issue with Brian Robinson, I've said on here, I think that he's lost confidence in himself. I think that every time he gets the ball, he's looking to jump cut instead of being a downhill runner. I honestly would like to see Austin Eckler feature more in the running game, and then maybe supplement B-Rob instead of B-Rob being the lead horse. Because, I mean, last week's game, you literally just seen them give the ball to B-Rob, and he's in the back. He's getting hit in the back, or either he's not hitting the proper hole, and it just was bad news. But even in the opportunities that Eckler did get, you could see an initial burst, and also it made the defense play them a bit differently because he is a factor in the pass game. Jeremy McNichols, he's just there to be a third down back, essentially. But I don't know what your grade was for C-Rod. I think he's a solid player, but it's hard to keep active 4 running backs in a game. Like,
I actually think one of the crazier plays that Nick is alluding to too. I'm sure you probably remember when he was talking about just mis-IDing blocks. Mis-IDing assignments. It's offensive lineman. It was actually like the first quarter of the game. It was a tackle guard pull. If not, it was probably a counter with Sam Cosmi and Andrew Wiley, and Cosmi's pulling to the left side of the offense, and like there's a 3 technique right here, and like he goes towards him, and like in the middle of the play, I can show it in a second. I know because Nick has to leave in a second, so I'll show it to us. Matter of fact, fuck it, I can bring it up right here.
Hold up. I think I know what you're talking about, but
let me see.
There was a lot, so. I'm trying to remember which one.
Kills, no fake 20. Oh, it's on my MacBook. Damn. Yeah, it's on my MacBook. I did it on 2 different platforms, on 2 different systems. But he pulls it. He pulls in on a counter with McNichols in the backfield basically, and Cosmi goes to the 3 technique and then realizes, at the last second, let me go to the edge defender, and he ends up blocking nobody. But Wiley is pulling behind him. Like, so it's Cosme and Wiley that's pulling to the left side, to the play side of the run. And Cosme ends up blocking nobody. And because Cosme was unsure of who he's supposed to get, whether it was the 3 technique or the edge defender as the kick out, Wiley doesn't even know who he's supposed to get. So like the defender essentially slips free and smacks McNichols in the backfield. And it's like a 1 yard loss.
I got the play pulled up right now. I can't share it, but
it is. So you know what I'm talking about. Was that the counter? Is that a GC counter?
Yeah, guard tackle counter. I'm not sure what Cosme's thinking. Every rule in every book that I've ever seen is you block the end man, the most dangerous man, and you pin him to the line there. Cosme kind of has these little mental lapses at times that this year I've seen. And I've kind of chalked that up to a lot of tempo that they run. Tempo is great when you keep the defense off balance, but it can also kind of mess up your plan on offense. Offensive line doesn't have time to really kind of go through their assignments, point out different things, especially with the defense scrambling. So a lot of times it can lead to some missed assignments, which we've seen a bunch, but for the beginning part of the year, they were pretty solid in what they were doing. There wasn't a lot of mistakes there, but for whatever reason, back half of the year, it's just a lot of mistakes. And I don't know if that's because you got injuries in there and you're dealing with new guys, and having Biotish out was a nightmare. That was rough. And
the way that one is blocked up though, like, because you're looking at it now, the way that's blocked up, and I'll post it on Twitter when I can get to my laptop. So y'all can see, everybody in the chat, y'all can see it. But the way that's blocked up, Nick can see it. That's at least that's second level, third level type of run if it's blocked up properly. If Cosme does not pause and he plays quick enough and he executes his assignment, it allows Wiley to make a play. McNichols to the second level untouched.
Yeah, it's such a cool concept. And they got them in a good call as well, because it's one of their 2-back sets that they run with McNichols and Eckler this time. Yeah, and so Eckler is running a split, so he's going one way. You got the 2 pullers coming the other way, so it sends a linebacker in the complete wrong direction. So if you just get your 2 pullers to you just got to touch them, just touch them, you've got a huge hole, and then you've got McNichols one-on-one with Levante David, who's not really in the right spot. And it's a huge run. And that's what you've seen all over the tape. It's just like, it's for whatever reason, we're just having mental lapses everywhere. And you can't have that if you want to win next week.
I know what time you said you had to dip.
I completely forgot about it.
Nah, it's all good. I appreciate you giving us the 5 extra minutes.
I could sit here and talk about guard tackle counter for the next hour and a half. It's literally what I spend all day doing is run game stuff. So
I want to give you the floor just to get your prediction. I know we in the chat with Big Doug. We get our predictions out of the way, but look, go ahead and spoil it for the people that do follow you. What do you think about our chances Saturday night against the Detroit Lions? Heads up, spoiler for everybody. I'm in full homer mode at this point. I don't give a damn. So there's no way I see us losing until we actually lose a game. So that kind of gives you a preview of my prediction coming up. But Nick, where are you at? What do you think? And let the people know like all the work that you got going on as well. The floor is completely yours.
Yeah, I've been kind of in a homer mode the past couple of weeks as well, as you've seen, like you said, with the Big Doug scores that we put up. Every single week I've kind of landed on Commanders winning 30 and then the defense giving up 30. It's somewhere in the 30s. Commanders are always scoring 30 something. The team they're playing is giving up 30 something. I've been wrong almost every single week, but I kind of see it landing in that same sort of spot. I think 10. I think 9.5 of 10 is crazy. I think they keep it within a touchdown at the very worst. I just don't. I don't know how they pull it off. I've been wrong a lot this year, so I'd love to be wrong again. But I would say Detroit 34, Washington 28, something like that, in that sort of range. I just don't know again how you stop that run, and then their offense is just on fire right now. So that's kind of where I land. But in terms of what I got going on, it's just Twitter. You guys can come yell at me for all the PFF grades. That's what I'm there for. But if you want to use them to make a point, I got you as well. Other than that, that's pretty much it.
Oh, Nick's being humble, but Nick does this thing with them PFF grades. Like I said, I'm there every week. I think Nick's great at what he does.
Yeah, I get it.
I think the greatest thing
it's
Nick
fun.
does is engage in conversation with.
See, I disagree.
those that
I think
challenge.
that's the worst thing that I do.
Nah, it drives me crazy.
I think
you get a lot of
it's-
people coming at you.
I
Pause for
think it's
using
the best
names.
thing. But before you get out here, one last PFF grade before we go into our Detroit Lions preview.
Mhm.
What is Jared Goff PFF rating, I guess, against the blitz?
Put me on the spot here.
Oh, good. Take your time.
Nick, you don't do Jared Goff, do you? You do Reds
So
or Commanders.
He got access. He got access to the.
Oh yeah,
I got everything.
He got the database.
Yeah.
When blitzed, 84.9. So
Appreciate
basically, what I do is majority of the time I am doing Commander stuff. But we always have people reviewing stuff, and I'm reviewing other games as well. So I'm watching pretty much all the NFL. Majority of the stuff we do is really college. There are so many damn college games that go on every single week. That's what we are really doing throughout the entire week. NFL is just kind of it's kind of easy for us now.
A couple days. I mean,
Nick, to put you on the spot, who would you draft next year then? Since you do a lot of college, who would you love for the Commanders to draft next year? It don't have to be first round. It could be any round in the draft.
I think if you get a wide receiver to fall to you in the low 20, Luther Burden has been one that I love watching.
that's what I've been scouting.
That's kind of one that I've been looking into. Usually for me around this time, I'm like 3 quarterbacks deep into who I'm watching. I haven't touched a single quarterback this year, so
we don't need to.
I don't have to. So I'm not really sure who I'm going to watch this year. I got a bunch of different positions I can kind of pick from now, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, I feel like if someone like that, a Luther Burden, kind of falls to you there, and I think that would be incredible.
I love Burden.
Hey man, appreciate you, Nick. Stay safe this weekend. Hopefully, we talk about a Commanders dub after Saturday night or midnight on Saturday. So appreciate you, big dog. Stay safe,
All
man.
Right. Appreciate you guys. Take care.
Yes, sir. Nick Ackridge, ladies and gentlemen of PFF, man. Good to have Nick back on the show. Fellas, we are in the Detroit Lions preview, so let's keep things going. That was Nick's burning question. What are y'all burning questions for? It's funny enough though, because matter of fact, I'll start it off because my burning question was actually what AJ brought up. Though he asked for Jared Goff's grade, I said, how the hell are we going to pressure Jared Goff when he is like one of the quickest processors in the game? I think for Jared, and I'll give you all the floor to kind of discuss and have your thoughts on it. But like the biggest detriment or threat when you face Jared, because he's clearly not a mobile quarterback. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like there's no debate. But there's a reason why he's effective as a person who can't move. Like he drops back and he's getting rid of the ball in less than 3 seconds. So how do you confuse Baker? How do you confuse Jared? And how do you pressure him at the same time? Like that's going to be a marriage from the coverage standpoint to the rush standpoint, where you got to make sure you are on point when he does drop back, and you do get him in those third down situations where he has to pass the football.
I can't pull it up, but what was the score when Detroit played Dallas last year under Dan Quinn?
That was a high scoring game, wasn't it? They both went at it with each other.
Funny enough, though, it started off a low scoring game. It was, I know it's now, matter of fact, no, I think it was a low scoring game. I had the under. Let me double check. Hold on. I remember that game.
Because I thought that was the game where Dan got a lot of heat for that going.
Yeah, boy, Mual, remember he took the under last
20
year.
20-19. Yeah,
20-19. Yeah, okay, yeah.
It was 20-19.
Yeah, 20-19. They Dallas Cowboys, but they gave up 420 yards. They forced
what was the end of that game that happened that was so significant? What did Dan Quinn? Oh, he went for the 2-point conversion. Was it at the end of the game?
Yeah, I think he went for the 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
They ended up scoring late. They went for the 2-point conversion with 23 seconds left.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah, going into the fourth quarter, it was actually 10-10 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so I mean, when it comes to Jared Goff, yes, he's a fast processor. I just think that once again, it's
that part too. I'm sorry, my bad. Amani's great memory.
I remember the end call because he
did
like
check
4
in,
times.
But
they had like 4 different attempts. But I mean, when it comes to that particular matchup, it's more so if you can't get home to Jared Goff, you got to be able to put your hands up and bat the ball down. And that's something that Deron Payne does an amazing job at. He might have a club on his hand because of his finger, which definitely was broken based off the x-ray. But, also maybe the advantage, which is it's a bit tricky because you are trying to commit to stopping the run. But I think Dante Fowler can get home on their left tackle. He's definitely not going to get home on Penei Sewell, who is very athletic, but on their left tackle, Dante Fowler can get home. It's just one of those things where it's like pick your poison for Joe Witt Jr. You do have amazing playmakers in a Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, who can stretch the field, Armon St. Brown in the slot, but then also a tight end that they can move all around in Laporta. So it's going to be very intriguing to see what they do. I think that what I'll probably do myself is I'm going to go and watch that game from last year because, yes, Dan Quinn was calling the defense. Joe Witt Jr. was a part of that. Of course, we don't have a Micah Parsons, but there's ways that they could utilize Luvu to take advantage of that. And also with a Marshawn Lattimore playing, get Jeremy Chin to be more of a blitzer, but also have him play more coverage on a Jahmyr Gibbs, possibly going out for passes, or Sam Laporta, because I really don't want to see Luvu on Gibbs. I think Luvu is an amazing player, but he's a bit too stiff in the hips to be out there defending Jahmyr Gibbs in open space. Damn shit doing it. But yeah, at the end of the day,
that's too time, bro.
bro.
Too time, bro.
Well, I'll put on silent.
Yeah, I got to do D&D. But yeah, I think that's the most intriguing thing of this matchup is can Washington actually make a conservative effort to stop the run? Because if they stop the run, it changes how Ben Johnson will call plays. Like, the run is really like predicated for them being able to do all these motions and different creative things. If they can slow that down, man, it's going to be a nice little day. You might be able to hang out with your family by 10 o'clock.
Look, now, I mean, this is going to be one of those games, I think, you don't have to do too much exotic. You might have to keep a simple defensive game plan against Jared Goff because, as you mentioned, he's such a quick processor. This is going to be a game where in the trenches, guys are just going to have to win battles straight up. I mean, if guys aren't winning battles in the trenches, I don't really know what you can kind of counter Detroit with, because for me, I see this as a game where I probably drop more guys in coverage. I don't know if you're playing zone or man, but I'm dropping more guys in coverage. I hope my guys can win up front, because if you blitzing Jared Goff, he's going to identify the blitzer. I mean, I don't know how much exotic you can get with your blitzes and what he hasn't seen. I mean, he's seen a lot in his NFL career. I was a fan of Jared Goff back at Cal. A lot of people didn't care much for him, but I thought he was a really smart quarterback, very, one of those pro-ready quarterbacks, even at Cal, even in the Rams. I was talking about this today with someone. Someone was kind of discrediting him with the Rams, but I thought he was pretty good with the Rams. I just thought the Rams wanted to go for something a little bit more with a bigger ceiling than a Matt Stafford. But he went to the Super Bowl with the Rams. Jared Goff is a really good quarterback. He may not be elite at certain things, but he's really good. He can command an offense. He can dial up certain things. He can process. So this is one of those games as a defensive coordinator. I'm hoping my defensive line can kind of win their battles up front. You don't want to have to rush too many guys. If you can win with 4 up front and drop most of your guys in coverage, it makes Jared think a little bit more. It makes him, maybe not have to go to his first read. You want to get Jared Goff, that type of quarterback, you want to start making him get to his 3rd and 4th reads, because then that's when you get the time for those guys to kind of win up front to get to him, make him a bit uncomfortable. Because I don't think the blitzes is going to make him uncomfortable too much, because he's going to identify those pretty early. He's probably going to beat you pretty early on those, especially if you're kind of running man coverage, which Washington kind of likes to do a lot. I mean, which we saw in the Baltimore game. They got torched, but they ran man coverage a lot. Joe Witt had to kind of come out of that. So for me, yes, I'm kind of stressing to my defensive line. You have to win your battles. I mean, you may not win every battle, but just make them uncomfortable a bit. If you can get to them, I'm going to drop guys in coverage, then see what happens. I mean, maybe he gets a little flustered. Maybe you get him out of his way. But I mean, that's just for me. I mean, that's what I think. That's what you have to do. It's going to be pretty simple, nothing too exotic. I mean, I don't know how much exotic Jared Goff hasn't seen in his career. Now, I guess since I'm the last person to answer that question, I have my burning question. And my burning question goes back to the offensive side of the football. Is what we've seen out of De'Ami Brown a fluke, or can we kind of expect this kind of production in this next game? And how big is De'Ami Brown going into this game against Detroit?
Look, let me tell you something about De'Ami Brown, bro. Ain't nothing fluke about it. I think what's important with this,
Drake
is
just
also
asked us a straight to hell question. That ain't even.
I know you don't like that question.
A straight to hell question.
Like the thing with, and what I mean by like it's not a fluke. I don't want to get people hopes up and saying this is who he's going to be like forever moving forward. But what I do think, and what I consider, or what I value in his performance last week, is understanding two critical elements. I never forgot the day that Cliff Kingsbury, or excuse me, the report or commentary from reporters coming out of the bye week was that Cliff ain't even get into his bag yet. Right. That was one of the biggest conversations that he had. And my thought was like, I thought that was actually going to show itself after the bye week, but we never really knew when his bag, when he was going to go deep into that from a play calling standpoint, from a usage standpoint. De'Ami saw the most targets that he's seen. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. His production was the most that he's seen from a catch and yardage standpoint in like his entire career. They saved it for the wild card game. And I think for Detroit, against Detroit, where you're talking about a person who needs to step up again, who needs to step up in opposite of Terry, you might as well look to De'Ami again. Just after one game, that doesn't mean that, he's solidified in terms of like, this is a person that we need to lock down from a coordinator standpoint. Sure, they're going to focus on De'Ami. He had a big game. But at the end of the day, like they still don't know what he's truly capable of. So that leaves the advantage in Washington's favor. So the answer to your specific question, is it a fluke? I don't think that this is a fluke for the moment. I think that De'Ami is in a position where he can really be a significant contributor in the playoffs, win or lose. I think that he has another big game in his back pocket for Washington that can help out this offense. What does that look like? Does it look like a 100-yard day? I don't know. But like it looks like a person who can really convert some first downs, who can have some explosive plays the same way that he did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, against a secondary who is lacking from a talent standpoint due to injuries. But like if you're talking about a man coverage team, you can't like just lock up your safeties and put them on your on Washington's receivers. That's an L. Like their strength is in the safeties right now. The quarterbacks are hurt. I think that De'Ami does have another game in him, and I think we'll see that on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Mual even just brought up is very true. Detroit struggles in their secondary with the absence of a Carlton Davis, rookie corner from Alabama, Terrion Arnold on the other side. I don't even know who the other starting corner is, to be honest with you. I do know that they have two amazing safeties in Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. But, Brian Branch is going to play closer to the line of scrimmage. Kirby might get to play a little bit more center field. I think that De'Ami Brown can be a contributor, right? I don't think they will have a repeat success.
The nicest thing you're going to say about him, AJ.
No, I mean, I don't think he'll have a repeat success of what he did last week. I think that was an anomaly. But, of course, just like it was a surprise to us last week, it'd be surprising again to see it happen back-to-back weeks. It would be something we've never seen before. But I think I've never said this before on here, but I think this is an opportunity game-wise for Luke McCaffrey to have his breakout moment. Okay. And the reason why I say that is this secondary is depleted. Like, I truly don't know how Detroit plans on stopping this offense and Jaden Daniels, especially if Cliff really gets in his bag and spread them out. Like, I truly don't know how they're going to get home to Jaden. I don't know who they're going to stop secondary-wise. Like the Bucs. the Bucks had Jamel Dean come back, who did a pretty solid job on Terry, but that was his first game in a while. Like Diami Brown also took advantage of being able to go against Zion McClellan on the opposite side. You know, like he's a fairly new guy to the league. That's going to be the same opportunity with Detroit. He can take advantage, but also Luke should be able to get some receptions and have some breakthrough moments. I just think that this is the playoffs, man. Like so many people come about and end up being the stars of certain games. Like I mean, you even look at the Rams game last night. Kobe Durant had a sack and an interception. Like he literally got a sack in one play, and maybe a play or two later got an interception. Like you just see people act different and play different. They get up for those moments, and I think that Diami Brown can be a contributor, but the person that I see possibly having that breakout moment is Luke McCaffrey.
Okay.
Fellas. Matter of fact, let me check.
Hopefully we delete this part of the podcast when we done.
In August, we didn't gave AJ his props in August for his predictions,
Right,
but
he
in
had a whole
August,
tour run.
he did not like Luke McCaffrey. So
I still don't like Luke McCaffrey.
But you gonna have to like him if he do what you say he gonna do.
I still don't like him, but I think that people are saying that he's not playing like that. No, he's getting snaps. Like if
he's not getting opportunities.
Nah, he not playing no more. He didn't lost his snap count and
yeah, the snap count is down. But if he makes an opportunity out of what is on the field, they're gonna continue to be able to go to him. It's just like Diami. When Diami got that hot hand, they kept going to him. They put him in opportunities of the screen pass. They got him up across the middle. Like he was energized. He was more locked into the game. Like we've never seen Diami, in a sense, be featured like that in the 4 years that he's been a Washington Commander. Never.
All right. Let's get into our predictions and get up out of here. What's our score predictions? Who's going to be? I mean, we know who the MVP got to be. God damn. But what's our score predictions, bro? Hey, everybody in the chat, let's hear y'all score predictions. Who get the dub? Who's y'all MVPs? All that stuff.
Look, man, y'all said this earlier. I'm at the point where I'm not picking us to lose any games at this point. Like I'm just not. I'm sorry. Like I'm all homer mode. I'm full. Whatever you want, I want it to. And at this point, I think the team is on that mode as well. So I'm going with the Commanders to win this game. And I do believe this ain't gonna be, and I might be the closest person to last week's prediction score. I predicted 27-24. We won by 3 points. It was in the 20s. Both teams had 20 points. So this week, I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring because this is, Detroit and Washington got to bring it like they did against Philadelphia in that second game. So I'm going 37-33 Washington wins. And who else but the star of the show, Jaden Daniels, wins MVP. I'm not picking nobody else. Who else would I pick in this game? No, it's Jaden Daniels. He's an MVP.
Yeah, I got scared for a moment. I thought Dre was going to take my score prediction, but for me, man, I definitely got Washington being competitive in this game. I think that a lot of people look at Detroit's offense and say, well, they're so dominant. But we're also forgetting on the defensive side, they're missing a lot of starters from their defensive end to their D tackle to their linebacker to their corner. Like they're missing someone in every segment of the defense. And I think that Detroit has not played many dynamic quarterbacks this season. I mean, of course, week one they played Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. They also played Josh Allen, which was a shootout, and they ended up losing. But other than that, Mahomes doesn't bring to the table what Jaden does as far as a runner. Josh Allen does in some capacity, but Josh Allen isn't on the level of a passer that I would say Jaden is, but Jaden is much faster than him. I just think that if they play a lot of man, which they have shown to do under Aaron Glenn, and we keep the ball in Five's hands, it's going to be a long day, and I just trust this defense to be able to make a play. They've done a fairly good job of keeping teams from scoring touchdowns and limiting them to field goals. They haven't been all-pro defense, but I definitely got Washington winning, man. MVP of the game is Jaden Daniels, of course, but I think defensively we will see Frankie Louvu have a big day, and he's due for one. I'm predicting 37-31.
Let's go.
So you want Detroit. Then you got Detroit.
Yep.
And Commanders fans, Detroit's got you and your third worst rushing defense in the NFL and your rookie quarterback and just an insane environment Saturday night where we got all day to get right, if you know what I mean. You have no concept of what you're walking into. None whatsoever. We are 60 minutes away from hosting an NFC championship game. And if you thought that I was going to roll in here today and just be calm about that and say, let it play out, I will not. And this, record and run back tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday, I'll be even more extra about it. We are 60 minutes away from hosting the NFC championship game here in Detroit to go to the Super Bowl. We are 60 minutes from. You think that you're going to walk in here and stop that from happening?
Stand on business, Neil. Stand on business.
And your awful defense and your rookie quarterback, you think you're going to stop that? Ain't no way.
The rookie quarterback.
Hey, brother, let me tell you something about your Detroit Lions. You guys are going to be going on vacation at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope you get Cabo ready. I hope you get Tulum ready. I hope
1, 2, 3, Cancun
ready.
Hey,
Get Bali
watch
ready.
your man Randy Savage.
Because
Like,
the Washington Commanders are coming down
for you.
on you, sucker.
a wrestling promo.
With that
for a
being said,
podcast.
38-34 Washington, man. Jaden Daniels put it in his. Oh, that was going to.
Hey,
Put the ball in his hands the last drive of the game, bro. He finna do it again, bro. Wild card round, down 30, 31, 34. He ain't even kicking no field goal, bro. He put y'all out y'all misery.
Hey,
I can't wait to come back.
Marlon Dre.
I'm coming right back to him.
Hey, Marlon Dre.
That's
you
why I put it
when-
out here. I don't even know what program he on. I don't know nothing about him, bro.
He looked like Ben Johnson Jr.
Hey, Marlon Dre, y'all remember when Booker T was like, Hulk Hogan, we coming for you?
Yeah, they doing wrestling
And
promos up here on the
man right next to
podcast.
him, bro. They said, "Oh wait, what you say?"
He said, Hulk
His
Hogan,
man's
we
was trying to
coming for
hype him
you?
up. His man's was laughing at him too, but he wanted to hype him up because he was in the mode.
Yeah, he was just locked in. But yeah, 38-34, bro. We ain't giving y'all no hope. It ain't no tie ball game, bro. Jaden Daniels going down last drive of the game, bro. He going ahead, put y'all out y'all misery. Y'all had a nice run. So y'all thought y'all had a nice little number one seed, but it's about to be Philly and Washington in the conference title game. And guess who's probably gonna go to that game?
Hey,
I'll spend the bread for that one.
hey, Urban
I don't
Sports
get- I don't
Scene in the chat. Urban Sports Scene, baby. We're gonna need you to change your prediction, brother. Like, hey, you gotta get with it, or you.
Oh, no,
gotta
I know who that is. He that's a
No,
superstitious thing.
Okay, all right.
he
I'm
ain't
glad
about to-
because I need him.
you know
to
your
be-
superstition?
I need you to
Yeah.
be with one of us.
He is
Hey
superstitious.
man, you know what's gonna be funny, man, is when they win this game on Saturday night, and we're talking about the Washington Commanders with one game away being featured in the Super Bowl.
But possibly against the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC.
Bring that rivalry back, bro.
Oh,
This is
my
like
God.
going against the Cowboys in 1982 for the NFC Championship.
Bring
You know
it
what
back,
that
bro.
did to the rivalry. In 1982, when we
Man.
played the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game, that exploded the rivalry. Imagine if we were to play the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Conference Championship game. That rivalry would explode, baby.
What a moment, bro. All right, let's get about it here. Twitter is gonna blow money. Appreciate everybody who's checking it live, who's always been live, man. Again, R32 Thursday, Washington Commanders morning show tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Post game recap of Detroit, Washington, 11:30 midnight, whenever you know it is. We gonna be here soon as after that final whistle. Y'all take it easy. Enjoy y'all night. Enjoy the rest of y'all week. Stay safe. We're gonna be around on this panel. We up out of here. Peace.
Chop it down. Chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down.
Damn, set, watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Die.